Welcome back to In Focus California. Often people want to volunteer, but they don't know how or where to sign up. So we decided to ask the experts to demystify the process for us. Joining me now are Debbie Brutchey with LA Works and Merlin Clark and Jackie Jones, both with the Do Good Bus. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
So let's start with you. Tell me a little bit about your organization and what it does.
So LA Works is in our 28th year now. We've been making volunteering really easy and accessible to volunteers, to the community for that long, because we want to bring the community together, bring resources to nonprofits.
And with the Do Good Bus, so you connect volunteers and put them on a bus.
The side of the bus says do good on it, but really we're about creating community. It's a surprise. So you'll get on, you don't know where you're going, you ride for a half an hour, we'll play some icebreaker games, get people getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And then we'll show up at a no-kill animal shelter or do a carnival for foster kids or paint a mural.
And Jackie, for the volunteers that you've met, when you talk to them and ask them why do they volunteer, what are some of their motivations for doing so?
It's really interesting. It's more about education for them. They want to know, how can I get involved? What can I do? Just in Los Angeles alone, like in every little, region of town, there's just so many, like, rabbits? No one thinks about rabbits, but apparently they have a need. There's a lot of good to do in the world, and it's like with people, with animals, with getting your hands dirty, with cleaning up, with beautification. There's so many ways to get involved, and people are just like, I don't know what to do, where do I start? And they want to know more.
What are some areas that volunteers can sign up for with your organization?
Every issue area across the board, there is a nonprofit that is serving a need in the community and has needs all across LA. We make it really easy for you to find an opportunity that's appropriate for your age. If you're a kid, for example, we can help you find something that you can do, like painting a mural or gardening. There's something for everyone.
Now, for some people, they're confused maybe about where to go to sign up or how. So for your organization?
For our organization, we make it as easy as possible. There's they can search for opportunities by their zip code, by their age, by what they want to do. And we have new opportunities every day of the week. So get on our newsletter list and get blasts about what's new and exciting in their area.
And then for the Do Good Bus, how do people sign up for a ride?
There's community rides that we do and then corporate rides. And you can go to our website and find out information about them both. So many people don't know the opportunities out there where they can volunteer, and we'll make those connections. If you come back on the Do Good Bus over and over, you're going to be exposed to several different types of volunteering. So hopefully something resonates with you, and then you come back and volunteer again.
Do you do background checks? Is there training required?
So we have more than 100 volunteer leaders who lead the opportunities, and they are trained so that it makes it really easy for volunteers to show up and not have to be trained. We also post and recruit volunteers for opportunities at our nonprofit partners. And so many of the nonprofit partners that we work with, they do background checks for the opportunities with youth. What's really fun about LA Works is you can find an organization, fall in love with them, and then make a longer term commitment. And so that requires a little bit more time commitment than the initial, let's check it out and see what's going on.
So you've definitely seen volunteers return over and over
absolutely,
again.
Yes. Whether they return once a year for our big days of service with 1,000 volunteers, or they return to a nonprofit monthly so that they can feel connected. So people volunteer to connect with individuals, the other volunteers, the people they're serving and working with and learning from. So yeah, people get really involved in the relationships through volunteerism.
And what about age restrictions? Are there any for yours?
It depends on the opportunity. So we have opportunities for 3-year-olds to 99-year-olds.
Wow,
yeah.
Quite a range.
And have seen those volunteers, which is really exciting. I was saying earlier that my daughter volunteers. She's 6, and she comes out for the days of service, and she loves to dig and plant trees and get dirty. And so there's an opportunity for the 6-year-old to roll up their sleeves, as well as an opportunity. We work with volunteers who are 55 and older, and a lot of them have so much wisdom and skills and expertise to give back, that they're committing hours, 40 hours a week to a nonprofit.
And then for the Do Good Bus, is there a minimum age requirement?
Typically, the nonprofits that we're going to, they like to have kids that are at least 12. Some will have 16 or 18, but we'll say 12 is the youngest.
And do you find that people will return a second time, third, fourth time to volunteer? No.
Definitely.
Yeah, always recommending to their friends, we did this, you've got to do that. So, yeah.
And then finally for you, have people ever had any kind of negative experience, or maybe it wasn't quite what they thought it would be?
I think that people don't know what to expect going into volunteer. We try to provide information, details, and they get their eyes opened when they get involved. But I don't think it's a negative. It's really all about, like, what is it that we've learned today and taken away from this experience. And we do our best to make it positive, because if someone had a negative experience, they'd be less inclined to volunteer.
Would you say it's a life-changing experience?
It was for me. Now I'm running an organization that manages and recruits and engages volunteers, and I'm trying to instill that in my daughter. And I think that it's a way that you really get to learn about your community and be a part of your community, and see Los Angeles, which is so big and so diverse, and being a part of that diversity in a really unique way.
Merlin, Jackie, for you finally, is it a life-changing experience to volunteer?
Everyone has their own relationship with it, and some people, they get off the bus, they don't want to leave because they've just had this great experience where they've created impact, where they've done good, where they've made a bunch of friends, and now they're part of this community.
Personally, I've been volunteering with the Trevor Project for over 4 years, answering phones for the suicide hotline. So to come into that experience, I think you have to be touched personally to be able to, your heart is like, once you have it, you can talk about experience, but to have the actual experience, to get the feels, if you will. But then meeting Merlin personally, like, I never thought that I could have a career doing good. Like, what? It's so mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It's like, why didn't I think of this sooner? My anxiety levels would just, I'm passionate about something. It's not a job. It's like, how can I do more? How can we get more people involved? How can we create, ongoing relationships?
What volunteerism does is allow you to be a consultant and a, entrepreneur, or, have a day job, and then also have that warm, fuzzy feeling, learn, get involved. It doesn't have to be your job, but it can be a part of your life.
All right, well, good stuff. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
That's it for our show today. Thank you so much for joining us. To see more of our stories, go to spectruminfocus.com. And we want to know what you think, so please post comments on my Facebook page at Renee Ng News. You can also follow me on Twitter at Renee Ng, where you'll get the latest updates on our shows. I'll see you next week.